It's the 40th anniversary of the Breakfast Club. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's go back. Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Gen X Unfiltered, the podcast.
What's up, everybody?
What's happening?
Steve, Eric, how are you?
Good, guys. How you doing?
Doing great today.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Every time it just sounds so fake.
Oh, yeah. It's the worst opening. But we keep doing it, so it's going to be
Doing
something.
great, everyone. How are you?
Yeah.
Well, it's just, I think it just sounds fake because it's just like you say the same thing. But anyway, it is what it is. It's our opening. It's our bit.
You don't want to restart it?
No, we're fine. It is what it is.
Okay. All
We're
right.
rolling now.
That was real life. We're into it.
If people know anything about us, they know we're hot messes and we just keep rolling.
That's how we do it, baby.
Yeah, we keep rolling. I don't know what you're looking at me for, like for a reaction.
All right, guys, we are talking about the Breakfast Club. It is their 40th anniversary.
I know. It just passed. It was a couple weeks ago,
When
weeks
was
ago, I
it?
think.
Oh, it was in February?
Yeah.
Yeah, February of 1985.
Gross.
That's crazy. 40 years ago
Yeah.
that came out.
No, then it should be, did you say 84?
I said 85.
Oh, okay. Wow, I had a
I was
brain
like-
fart there.
Okay. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like,
I
like-
did say 85, didn't I?
yeah,
I
you
don't
did.
know.
Okay.
For some reason, I was like, no, you're wrong, but you weren't wrong.
That's
Just
just your,
wait.
that's your go-to.
Whatever.
I know if there was a factor date. Wrong!
I'm wrong all the time, so I need other people to be wrong sometimes. All right, so The Breakfast Club, for any of you that don't know or haven't seen it, it was from 1985, directed by John Hughes. Plot summary: set on a Saturday at Shermer High School, 5 students from different social cliques are forced to spend the day in detention together. At first, they see each other through stereotypes, but as the day progresses, they open up about their personal struggles, forming an unexpected bond. Do we want to know who's in The Breakfast Club?
Yeah, sure. Do a little
Yeah.
rundown.
Give
Was
us
this-
who are the main characters? Who are these stereotypical
Was it?
high school kids?
Were these guys the Brat Pack people?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
This-
yeah.
This is like, yeah.
Yeah.
They were all like the Brat Pack.
All right, so we have Brian Johnson, Anthony Michael Hall, the Brain, a nerdy, academically driven student pressured by expectations, in detention for bringing a flare gun to school.
That's right. That gets
Whoa.
revealed later on in the movie.
Yeah, that's his big reveal.
Yeah.
Then we have Andrew Clark, played by Emilio Estevez,
Emilio.
the athlete, a wrestling star pushed by his father to succeed.
Win.
What?
Win!
That's right.
In detention for taping a weaker kid's butt cheeks together as a prank? I must have missed that.
Yeah. That's his whole big
Yeah.
thing. He
Oh.
like breaks down over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then there's Claire Standish, played by Molly Ringwald,
America's Sweetheart from the 1980s.
the princess,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a popular wealthy girl struggling with parental pressure.
John Hughes Muse.
That's right.
In detention for skipping school to go shopping. I mean, I would do that too. Just saying.
Who wouldn't go to the mall? I'd rather go to the mall than go to school.
Yeah.
I'd rather go to the mall than go to work.
All right.
I might try that on Monday.
We have John Bender, played by Judd Nelson, the criminal. Stupid. A rebellious troublemaker with a rough home life in detention for pulling a fire alarm. A little lame. He's,
Not the coolest way to end up in
No.
detention, at least because I know guys like him growing up and
Yeah.
they were doing stuff way worse than pulling the fire alarm.
Allison Reynolds, played by Ali Sheedy, the basket case. Are these actually what in the movie they're...
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, that's how the movie ends.
A quiet, eccentric outcast who exaggerates her problems. She wasn't actually punished. She just came to detention for something to do. I mean, I hear you, girl. Good for you. You just live a little.
On a Saturday afternoon, you got Saturday morning, you got nothing to do. Huh?
I
Experience.
guess, yeah, you want some free entertainment, go to
Look,
Yeah.
hang out in detention with the other kids.
I feel like Allison just beats to her own drum. Good for her.
She definitely does in that movie, yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we'll go through some of the key themes. Like, I don't think we really basically the synopsis of the movie is these kids are in detention on Saturday. That's the
Yeah.
whole movie.
Yeah.
There's sort of a group of individuals who don't really hang out together in
Yeah.
high school at all.
Forced to spend
Yeah.
a day
Forced-
together, yeah.
Exactly. So they're forced to spend a day together and they bond.
But my
Under
point,
the ruthless fist of that principal,
No.
whose name I can't remember right now.
but my point is like that's the whole entire movie in
Yeah.
the library. Like,
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
other
Yeah.
subplots or anything. It's just that's the movie.
no.
Well, I just mean like it's
No, but
yeah.
the general premise is it's 5 kids in detention on Saturday.
Yeah.
I just want to know before we get too deep. Did anybody ever have detention on the weekend? Was that actually
You know
a
what?
thing?
I
have
feel
never ever heard about that.
I feel like that is a thing, and I could be wrong, but I feel like that's a thing. Like if it was going to happen, it would be a thing in the States. No teacher here is spending their
No.
weekend in a detention.
That's a really good question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was-
because I
I've
had
always
detention once, and
Yeah, I remember having
It was
like
after
people
school.
have to stay after school and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but never heard of anyone having to go and do
No.
like a weekend and like a principal being there and like.
Lots of TV shows do. Like Beverly Hills 90210 had it, so maybe it's just a TV show thing. It makes-
Maybe it was, yeah.
but Steve, they had to have an 8-hour detention
Well,
on a
it wouldn't be quite
Saturday.
as much funny. You got to stay for half an hour on a Wednesday afternoon, kid.
And I also think detention's kind of stupid when you really think about it. Like what, especially the ones here where it's like half an hour after school you got to stay.
Yeah,
like it's just dumb.
like
Anyway.
you're just like the teachers usually stay late anyways. They're gonna mark their tests or
Yes.
whatever they're doing. So
But
it's
I
like,
just want to be like, if I was a teacher, I'd be like, I want to get the F out of my face.
yeah,
Go
like, I
away.
want to look at you kids in my own class, let alone after class.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll kind of pop through some of the key themes and sort of talk about them. So, stereotypes and labels. The movie explores the idea that people are more than the categories they're placed in. So, obviously, like Eric said at the beginning, this is. Let me just back up for a second. I have seen parts of this movie a million times.
Mhm.
I don't think I have. I'm not going to lie. I find the movie actually quite boring to sit from start to end to watch. I don't know. I'm just being honest. Like I
Yeah.
don't.
That's fair.
I don't find it to be a particularly like tension grabbing for me. It's kind of dry. I mean, I know there's a lot of like, more social.
Well, no, this one,
It's very
yeah,
Symbolism.
it's character driven.
oh,
yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is all dialogue.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've seen bits of it a million times.
Yeah,
But do you guys like the movie in general?
Yeah, I actually like the movie in general.
yeah. I thought we obviously rewatched this again a couple days ago, and
Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's classic characters, a lot of like actors from the 80s that were, key in that teen genre era.
Yeah, and
So-
I think the topics and stuff like that, it's
Well,
still relevant.
I think the overall thing, like at the end of the movie, you're kind of like, okay, like that is like, obviously it's an exaggerated, more specific version of high school, but that's what high
Mhm.
school is, right? There's
No,
always a
yeah.
bunch of different groups and kids and this and that. And, like I'm just going to go by their titles from the movie. Like the brain and the criminal ain't going to be going to coffee together on a normal situation.
No,
right?
exactly.
Like it's
yeah.
not
It
going to
was like
happen.
that. I mean, I remember in high school, like we had like the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you'd have like the jocks at one table,
Yeah.
the whatever, like all the sort
Yeah.
of different groups would kind of be in their own little cliques. You
Yeah.
know? So yeah, I mean, it's the exact same thing. It's like real life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, so like I don't know. I have a story. Is this a good time to tell a story?
We're
Like,
here.
Sure,
Let's
I don't know
hear
what
the
your story's
story.
about,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So whenever I see this movie or it comes up or whatever, I always think of this one experience I had. I think it was probably like grade 7 or 8. So like right in that like preteen age where
Yeah.
like super hyper focused on like, how you fit in and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just going to use the stereotypes that we use for the 90s in high school of what the groups of kids were. So in
Yeah.
our school, we had like the quote unquote cool kids, but like the pretty cool kids who were like the good looking cool kids.
Yeah.
Then we had the jocks. Then we had the like cool kids, but they were like kind of the more like badass cool kids, the ones that would be out smoking and stuff like that.
Oh,
But
the
they were like
smokers.
cool,
Yeah.
but they weren't like, yeah. So and then there was like the dorks.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, I probably fit into a category. I just don't know what but like I was the kid, like I, didn't have the fancy clothes. I
Yeah.
didn't wear a ton of makeup. I was mousy. I was quiet. I had a few select friends, but I feel like I was just kind of there. I wasn't really in a
Yeah.
I was probably categorized as a dork. I don't know. But I
think
wasn't
everyone
smart,
thinks they were, but
'cause
yeah.
the
Maybe you're
dork-
like a floater, like a free agent.
Because the dorks in my school, quote unquote dorks, they were the smart kids. And I wasn't a smart
that's
kid.
generally
Yeah.
how people look at it. That
Yeah.
So-
that's even in the movie, right? Like Anthony Michael Hall,
The-
what do they
Yeah.
call him?
the brain?
the
The
brain.
brain.
Like,
Yeah.
but he's super smart.
Dorky.
But
So
yeah.
sorry, I got to get to the point of my story. I was babbling there for a few minutes. Sorry. So in grade, like whatever grade it was, 6, 7, or 8, one of those grades, we went on a class trip and we would go. It was to go skiing.
Mm-hmm.
I never skied in my life. I had no interest in going skiing, but like, who doesn't go on a field trip, right?
Field trips are the best.
And so there was a couple of friends that I had. So it was all of like the 6, 7, and 8s kind of all went or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So a couple of my friends went, some didn't. We all went up there. I had never skied. My friends had skied before, so they like took off because they were
Good
bad friends.
I know.
And
I'm not staying on the bunny hill.
and I had to stay on the bunny hill and get lessons.
yeah.
The lessons that they give you, right?
Yeah.
So there wasn't many people on the bunny hill getting lessons because apparently a lot of people skied, and I don't know.
What do you think? We were in Canada or something like that?
Yeah.
People
I don't
skiing in the
ski.
We
winter.
have winter here?
Yeah.
And so there was a girl in my class who was, I would say, quote unquote, the cool badass kid. So she was the one that like was the cool kid, but like she smoked.
She was like the six from Full House.
Yeah, like kind of. But
Six was on.
no, not Full
Blossom.
Is it Blossom?
Yeah.
Blossom,
She was Gina.
Gina, that was
Or
it.
Gia, one of the two.
Whatever. Anyways.
So we're there, and I'm like a super shy kid. Like I don't talk to strangers. Even as an adult, I don't talk to strangers. And so I remember skiing, and I was already way out of my element because I didn't want to ski. Anyway, long story short, for some reason, we ended up like, because I think none of her friends were there either.
Yeah.
So it was just the two of us, and then we started talking. And long story short, we spent the whole entire day together.
Smoking darts on the bunny hill.
We spent the whole entire day together talking and laughing and skiing and falling and going to the chalet.
Yeah.
Like completely like we were best friends for like 10 years talking over the course of the day, just whatever. And I remember specifically when we left, we all got on the bus. She sat with her friends. I sat with my friends. Never spoke to her, and she never spoke to me again after that day. And we're in the same class.
It's like it never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's one of those things like I never would have, it's kind of like the detention. I never would have had that interaction with her if you sort of weren't forced to. And you realize that you're actually just regular people.
And
and that's exactly it.
And that came up in Breakfast Club, right?
Yeah.
Remember one of the big scenes, they're all talking upstairs in the library, and Anthony Michael Hall says, like, what happens on Monday? Like, because at that point, they're all kind of bonded, they're all kind of talking like they're friends. He's like, what happens on Monday? Will you like say hi to me in the hallway and stuff?
Yeah.
And then the kind of reality hits us like, no, like on Monday, everything goes back to the way it was.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there was like, in those situations, like I feel like her, like, it's like we kind of, it sounds so cheesy and I don't know how else to put it without being cheesy, but we like shared that day. And so we kind of had this, like, if you walked by her in the hallway, it's like we would shut up, don't laugh, Eric.
I'm just thinking, we'll always have the bunny hill.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's one of those weird things. And, like, nobody, like, I'm sure it's not like she went and told her friends that she hung out with me. I didn't tell, it was just a really weird experience.
Yeah,
but like, it's so funny because, like, I still remember that to this day.
No, it's cool, though, but it's like that with anything, whether it's, and then even like with what's going on now in the world, like left versus right politics, we all have way more in common with each other than differences.
If you can get past that hurdle, right?
Well, I think you get past this person's the quote unquote nerd or the brainer or the stoner or the whatever. If you can get past those labels, everyone's the same.
Well, like that. Politics is the perfect example, right? As individuals, we can find commonalities and get along.
Yeah.
When people get into big groups, then we suddenly have a lot of differences and
Because
problems.
you start to worry, like, what's this person going to think if I talk to that person, right? Like, what happens if I say hi to Anthony Michael Hall in the hallway? It's like, well, who gives a shit, really?
Yeah.
But especially in high school where everything like seems like such a big fucking
high
deal.
school is when you're in high school, you think high school is the whole entire world.
It's such a drama.
You just want to wish you could tell kids, but you hear all these sad stories about kids, in high school and dealing with lots of shit. You just want to be like, this doesn't matter. It's 4 years of your life. You will probably never talk to most of these people again. Just enjoy it. None of them matter.
Well,
who cares? This 4 years is nothing.
Don't carry any of this shit with you because it doesn't matter.
But at the time, it's like the biggest thing in the world.
It's your whole world. I always say, like, I wish I could go back to high school as an adult.
Yeah.
And like, you don't want to, because some people had really great high school experiences. Some people had really terrible. Some people, like me, my high school wasn't good or bad. I was just there. Like, I didn't, I don't, but like, you feel weird telling people, like, especially like teenagers now, to be like, who are having a tough time, to be like, it doesn't matter because it's their whole world right now.
It's hard to see past that.
It's so like high school is such like the time of life that it is. You're going through so many like hormonal changes, and just everything, and it's so. We can all remember times in high school where we just hated it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
Oh, totally, yeah.
You had no friends, or somebody who made fun of you, or like, and it just
or
felt
you're like in over your head, like with the schoolwork or something, right? Or the subject or something, right?
For me, it was more the social aspect of it. Like I said, I wasn't very good at being social. Shocker.
Yeah.
So but it's hard because you just want to tell people like it so doesn't matter. Like I just want to tell people go to school, graduate. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Just go do your work, do your test, do your exam, and graduate and give yourself an opportunity to do more in the future if you want. Yeah,
because you realize that once you're out of that place, once you graduate, it's just like, you'll never really think about it. You think about it sometimes, but like it's just a memory. And the people that you thought were so important back then.
In the grand scheme of things, it's, 4 years of your life.
It's a blip on the radar, but I think it's especially because of the stuff you're going through. Usually when you start you're 14 and you kind of go through puberty and all this stuff. So it's all that shit on top of it all that really makes it
you throw in the whole you start to like boys or you start to like girls.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's all that stuff kind of coming through at the same time.
I had a crush on a guy who was so not anybody that I would ever actually want to be in a relationship with because I mean whatever. But I remember being in grade 9 and this guy, he was this badass kid and I didn't even like him, but for some reason I was for some reason I was a partner with him for a science this is just how when you're 14, 15 your hormones are just I was a partner with him for science class for 2 weeks or something. And I was madly in love with him. I used to just sit there and look, he would half the time not be in school, he'd skip. Yeah. But not that I ever actually would have quote unquote dated him, but it was just so do you remember that? Just massively crushing on somebody that was just way not.
No, but it's high school though. That's sort of
it's a petri dish. It's a petri dish of. But did you guys have any experiences like I said about people that you normally wouldn't? Because I've even had experiences like that as an adult too, but
not so much. Well, no, the one time I do remember a little different, but we did a high school trip to New York City in my last year of school, and they made us. Just the way they divvied out the rooms. There was one person that had to stay. There was three, me and my two buddies, and there was the fourth one that had to stay in the room with us. Yeah, and none of us knew him at all, and we were kind of oh,
yeah. Poor kid.
Well, we weren't sure. We're we don't really know the guy. And he's kind of weird and blah blah blah. Yeah. But actually, it was the same thing for those 4 or 5 days. It was he was great, nice guy, and we hung out and laughed, and then
never talked to him again.
No, not really. No, because he went back in with his buddies and.
Well, what if you had to just classify him? What kind of clique would he have been in?
Probably more he was kind of in the. I would say maybe the. Not necessarily brainy, but he was kind of
the
into
dorky kid.
Dorky, but the guys that would wear trench coats, sort of.
Okay.
But not in they didn't really listen to Marilyn. They're weird. They're kind of into art.
Yeah.
They were the artsy dorky
bit,
kids. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
They were kind of, I don't know. They were. I remember the one kid, this guy specifically, he would bring a loaf of bread to eat for lunch.
Just the weird kid.
In class, he would just eat a thing of Wonder Bread.
The weird kid.
Yeah, just sort of quirky.
Oh, what about you, Eric?
What about me?
Did you have any things like that? Were you for a moment in time or a day? Or if you didn't, it's fine.
Not really. I'm trying to think, right? Well, because I remember in high school, sort of similar to what you were saying. I had a couple friends and stuff. I didn't have a lot of friends.
No,
at
I
all.
didn't either.
And I remember always kind of being nervous at the start of the school year to see are any of my little friends going to be in my class with me, right?
Yeah.
Because worst case scenario is none of my friends are here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
That happened to me in grade 9.
Yeah. Right. But really, I can't remember any situation where I was with someone who I became friends with them for a minute during a school trip or something. And then, life went back to normal and we didn't talk after that.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that experience, but I get it. I can see it.
It's weird. You're just, and it's just a matter of that guy that Steve you went on a trip with, he didn't have he had no choice but to hang out with.
No, I felt bad for him because his friends. Because his friends were there, I think. I don't remember now. Maybe not. I don't even know. But either way, I felt bad for him because it was there was 3 of us that were friends. Yeah. And he was the odd man out. But
yeah. No, and it's just funny how that works. And then again, you probably went back to school and just never talked again.
Yeah. No, I don't think. Yeah, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure we didn't really talk. If we did, it was not very often.
Yeah. But I mean,
I think it was a year behind us too, maybe.
I think that it's funny when you think about it. Because like you said, at the core, at the crux of it all, we're all just people. But we're all even as adults, it's the same way. But high school is definitely more of an exaggerated version. But you just realize that, it's all just sort of social expectations and standards that put you in these little groups, but we're all just people.
No, exactly. And it's just sometimes it's even just thoughts about what people will or won't think. Or some people don't even care, but you just think, if I do this, they're going to care. And, so you just get caught up in your own head about stuff too. It's,
Well, it's funny because I don't think that I fit into any of those groups, but I bet you everybody else had me in a group, just I had everybody else in a group.
Yeah.
No,
you know
and
what
that's
I mean?
Exactly it. Because again, you don't really know anybody, so you're just assuming that this person's wearing that, so they're this, or that person's doing this, they're that. But
All right, then the next key theme is parental pressure and expectations. Each character reveals struggles tied to their family and social expectations. So I know in this, again, and I feel it was exaggerated versions of sort of like what a lot of kids went through. Like the athlete who had a dad who was super like, you got to be the best.
Yeah.
You know, the criminal who probably had a rough home life.
He goes on the whole,
yeah.
What about you, Dad?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, then Dad punches him.
And then
he had an abusive home life.
The princess who was spoiled. You know what I mean? Like we all knew kids like that.
Yeah, her whole thing was her parents used her to get back at each other.
Yeah, because they were probably they hated each other. They were getting divorced.
Yeah,
they were divorced, and she was kind of there.
And then the brain, who's like, the parents have high expectations of him.
He was terrified.
I can't get an F.
Because he failed. He screwed up in shop class or whatever it was.
I mean,
it was shop class. He was trying to build a lamp that had like in the shape of an elephant.
I did question, why would you be building a lamp in shop class? Because, I guess it's shop. I was thinking auto shop.
But I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course
I was thinking shop, like more like auto shop.
You just talked yourself out of that one.
I was like, wait a minute,
But
I was terrible at shop too. It was fun though. We used to do dumb shit.
I'm gonna be honest. Like I was extremely at the time. but as an adult, I can look back. I was extremely lucky to have the family. They were not perfect, but to have the family that I did, compared to a lot of other people I knew who had parents who hated each other, who had parents who were super hard on them, who had super religious parents that wouldn't let them do anything. Like I was very lucky that my family wasn't perfect. My parents weren't perfect, but overall, I was,
I was the same way too. Like my parents, I don't remember them ever like yelling at me to do homework or anything.
If anything, my parents probably were a little lax.
I was going to say maybe my parents should have been more. I was definitely not a great student by any means. Like
well, my dad was a teacher, so he was very they were very
invested. Oh, you suck.
I know, they were very invested in my grades and parent teacher night. They were like all up in that. And I was like,
that would be the worst.
I
remember having like not panic attacks, but like being nervous about bringing home like a bad test, like hiding it in my backpack and stuff. Like oh man, one time I think I forged like one of my parents' signatures on my test.
Oh, I did that too.
I did that in like grade 4 or something like that. 5. I was pretty young.
Yeah.
With a pencil too.
I think everybody did that at one point in time.
Your dad writes in pencil? Yes, of course.
And remember, his head is broken. So
but I mean, like, I didn't have parents. Like I said, I didn't have parents that were like, you got to be the best athlete. You got to go to Harvard. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to like. It was just pretty average. But like I said, I knew people who were the quote unquote princesses. I knew people that were, supposed to be the star of the basketball team, and that was it. And
I had some friends like that whose parents, it was like, ooh man, they're tough.
And so I'm thankful that my parents, like I said, if they probably could have made me force me, but then again, I don't think it's parents' jobs to force 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds to do homework. Like my mom was very much like, you know what? Like, and I failed a class one year, and she's like, well, then you're wasting a month of your summer going to summer school.
No, exactly. Like I remember I had a buddy, and he was pretty well off. I remember his parents bought this like giant like double electric organ. Like it was
massive.
It cost like thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I remember him playing it. He was trying to play Phantom of the Opera.
Oh no.
And he hated every minute of it. I'm like,
why are you doing this?
Because his parents made it. But it's like, what?
Yeah.
Who's getting anything out of this?
Yeah, exactly. You don't like doing it.
Yeah, it's like clearly like you can't, even if you want to play an instrument, but like maybe be like, what do you want to play? But just like, you're playing this, we spent like $5,000 on this stupid thing. Now sit down and play Phantom and make me cry.
That was
Sing
just
for me.
That was just stupid that they went out and spent that money to do that.
Yeah, I know. But I remember him being down there. We were talking about it one day and he's like, he hated it. I'm like, oh, that sounds like an awesome time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, we're going to take a quick little camera break.
Let's restart the camera before it stops on us.
Okay, let's go. Quick. We'll be back in less than a second. All right, we are back after that quick camera break. And Eric was about to tell a story. And I said, hold up, Eric. Hold up. Tell the people the story.
First off, that was the exact segue we said don't do during our break. Like, hey, Eric, do you have a story? Why don't you tell us?
I tried to throw you off because you're like, I'm like, no, I'm going to do a good segue. So you're like, okay, good. So I reversed it on you.
So wait,
Tell your story.
How is it benefiting me?
Tell your story.
Anyway, so Steve was talking about shop class, right?
Yeah.
And I had a little flashback to my high school days in shop class, and I was thinking about the time I set a welding glove on fire by accident.
What does that have to do with what we're talking about?
The shop class.
Yeah.
But I was just laughing because it's a funny story.
I thought it was like
so basically like the welding gloves in shop, right? Like they're fire proof more or less, right?
Yeah.
But if you set them on fire, they just kind of like smolder.
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize I had set them on fire, these welding gloves, because I was not good at shop class. I was horrible. And I set these gloves on fire without realizing it, right?
Yeah.
And I put them back into, it was a wooden drawer. that I put them into.
And they were still on fire.
Oh yeah. And they were still on fire. And the funniest part was our shop teacher. He was super monotone. He showed no expression ever.
Until.
Well, even then, like, he was still monotone, but his voice just went through the roof. He was like, oh my God, they're on fire. And then he ran over to the cabinet and pulled the gloves out there. You could see they were smoldering.
Yeah.
And he was like, who did this? And we're just like, come on, I don't know.
You just pointed to your buddies.
I don't know who did it. Some jerk, obviously.
Did you blame the dorks?
No.
Did they call you?
I wanted to become a dork, but they wouldn't let me in the club if I like blame them.
So you weren't even cool enough to be a dork?
I wasn't want to be dork if I was going to label myself.
Here comes old hot hands, Eric.
Hey.
I'm not going to lie.
You're on fire.
I'm not going to lie, but if I had to label what you tell about your high school life, I would say you were a dork.
Well, at least the dorks are smart.
Okay, but not the smart dorks.
How smart are you for to set the gloves on fire
not
and put them in a wooden cabinet?
But not the smart dorks. The like dorks that just like, I don't know.
Okay. What a dumb dork.
You know what? I'm really glad I told this story.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
All right.
I was trying to spice the story up.
It was a pretty good story, I thought.
Just kidding.
Shop and stuff. Oh, those fun, those classes.
Yeah, I was terrible at it though. So
me too. I was awful at shop. Yeah.
Don't set the welding gloves on fire and then put them in a wooden cabinet afterwards.
At least when we were in high school in Ontario, I have no idea what it's like now, but when we were in high school in Ontario, you had to take like shop and like, at least my school in grade 9, you had to take shop, or grade 7 and 8, 9, whatever. You had to take shop and like, they called it home ec.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember doing that in grade 7 and 8, right?
Yeah, we did it in 7 and 8. And then grade 9, you had an elective.
Yeah.
And I never did shop. No, we did communications. And then we had to do a stint of auto shop. Okay.
Really? I never took auto shop.
It was like
we had an auto shop class, and my buddies said took it, but I never did.
Oh man, I wanted to do auto shop, but our school didn't have that.
Yeah, offered. I wish I had now. And I went, it was great to learn how to do an oil change and some stuff like that. Just some simple, basic stuff.
All right. The next, I don't even know if we finished talking about the other one, but that's fine. We'll move on. Teen rebellion and identity. The film captures the confusion and frustration of adolescence. I mean, can you go back and think of a time in your life where you were more confused, frustrated, stressed, had anxiety, happy, sad? Like
today
it sounds
work.
like today.
Well, actually, true.
Through the ringer.
That's true.
But it was different. Yeah.
Or like you get a pimple and you just want to hide, and like now it's just like, girl, I got pimples. You know what I mean?
It's picture day. Oh my God.
Yeah.
How is that boy that doesn't even know I exist going to like me if I have a blemish on my face? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just stupid.
It's a lot of dumb stuff.
No, and that's the thing. As a kid, everything seems like it's the end of the world.
Can I ask you guys a question? Did you guys ever have a crush on a girl that was like just way out of your league? Or you assumed was way out of your league based on stereotypes?
Oh, yeah.
Steve answered that so fast. Oh yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think that was pretty much the case for like all the time.
I think
every guy.
Yeah.
Why? You never had a crush on a girl that was equal to you? They were all equal to you, but not in your mind.
Well, that's the problem. I think in my mind, I was like, I was a wannabe dork. I'm like, I'm the bottom of the barrel.
I always felt like a lesser than.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe they would have liked you for who you are if they knew that you liked them.
Just need to go to detention for a day. All I need is give me 8 hours on a Saturday, baby. I'll change your mind.
They called me No Riz.
I mean, I don't know. But did you ever, like, was there people you had a crush on that you literally just never talked to?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would say, like, a crush, like, you know, I'd be like, oh, that girl's really good looking or something like that. But I don't know if it's like a crush, like,
I had crushes on.
Like, I hope she talks to me.
No,
like,
but I
did. It was more like that. I remember, like, you know, being like, oh, that girl's hot.
Yeah, I remember being like, oh, you know, she's really pretty, but stuff like that, but not being like, oh, I would love to go out with her and be her boyfriend, and I hope she talks to me.
Maybe it's different for girls, because I used to get crushes on guys in my class that I never talked to, but I just sit there all day and watch them in class.
Yeah, well,
would you be like that girl who would like awkwardly stare at people from across the room?
I was weird and awkward.
With no expression on their faces, like kind of like a psycho?
Yeah.
I was not a dater in high school. I did not date. I was like, I didn't go to, like, I was a nerd, okay? I was a dork. It is what it is.
All right.
Anywho, let's move on.
Now we're just revealing too many embarrassing facts about ourselves.
No, I mean, I own it. Like, I wasn't somebody who like had a boyfriend in high school.
I was not a cool kid by any means. I don't think. I was just a regular.
Which is annoying, because if you think back, it's like, so here's a reverse story, like really quickly. I know we're kind of going down our high school days, but they're fun stories. But so my sister was a couple years younger than me. So obviously at a time we were at the same high school.
Yeah.
And there was this group of guys who were a year older than me. But I was in, I think I was like in grade 11 or something, and they were in grade 12.
Yeah.
But we were in the same accounting class. Because, when you get to that age, you kind of like have different grades in your classes.
Eventually, they kind of,
So it was this group of 3 guys, and like they were older. And to me, I categorized them in my head as kind of like the dorky guys. They were very friendly. They were very nice. Like I talked to them. The class was right after lunch period. So like people would get there early. And like that was back in the day when people like play cards at school during their lunch break and stuff.
We used to play asshole all the time in the winter.
So they would be playing cards before class started. Sometimes I go, and then eventually I'd kind of play cards a few times, whatever. Like it was just in class we talked, right?
Yeah.
And then my sister was part of this thing where we had a student store. And so she worked with her friends in the student store. And these guys worked in the student store too.
Yeah.
And I remember my sister came home and I thought nothing of these. And she told me, she's like, oh, so-and-so told me that he really likes you. And I was like, what? Like, I was completely oblivious. I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, I literally don't, like, barely know this person. She's like, no, like, he always goes, he told me, like, he goes to his locker because our lockers were in the same thing. So he's like, he would always go to the locker. And I'm like, is that why he's always at the locker? I just thought he was at his locker.
Yeah.
So, of course, how extremely
That's
awkward.
the worst. And it's like that awkward, like,
now that I know this, and I'm just like, and I didn't think about him like that at all. But sometimes when you know somebody like you kind of start thinking like, oh, yeah.
Oh, that would definitely change your tune, I think, a bit. Like,
but so awkward. And he was extremely awkward, too. So it just never did anything. But I was just like, why did you tell me that?
Yeah.
I was just blown away. She's like, all he does is talk about you. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no, and that's exactly, you never know.
You're just oblivious to a lot of the stuff, right? Because we're all in our own little headspaces.
No, and that's exactly, you're too busy looking at the person down there and not realize there's someone here looking at you. And
I have another story.
Oh, boy.
Sorry.
Okay.
Do you want me to not tell stories?
No, please tell the story.
Because it's all related to the movie. Like,
the whole movie's about high school and
it's why this movie's still so relevant.
I promise you, my high school life was not exciting. I'm just remembering these stories. So then I had a crush on this super dorky guy. I don't even know why, because honestly, he was an asshole. Like, not like, but like, just like arrogant asshole. Like, he thought he was hotter. Like, he was a dork, but he just thought he was greater. And I remember I told my friend.
Was his first name Elon?
No, ew. And I told my friend because, stupid me told my friend.
That's the worst thing to say. And then
we were in the same gym. We were all in the same gym class together. And then she told him.
Yeah.
And so super awkward. I was like, this is the worst. So then I knew that he knew, and then he knew that I knew. And it was just this weird thing. We never talked. And he thought he was like way above me. So he was kind of just like a dick to me because it was almost like, don't have a chance with me, babe. Even though he was like super loser.
Yeah.
So that's fine. I got over it really quick because ew.
That would do it, yeah.
And so then like a year later, it must have been like a year later. So it was in grade 12, then the last year of high school. I don't know. A year later, all of a sudden, I had a part-time job at a store. And all of a sudden, he kept showing up at the store. I didn't talk to him.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't his class. Started showing up at the store. And I was like, oh, okay, hey, what's up? And then my mom, I come home from work. My mom's like, oh, so-and-so called here looking for you. And I told him you were at work. And I was like, what? So this asshole who thought he was too good for me a year later decided that I'm like, that ship sailed because you an asshole.
Yeah.
So you lost your chance.
Now he's going to like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, those guys are not very smart.
Did you tell him to talk to the hand?
No, I was just like, but again, I was so oblivious. I'm like, oh, what a weird coincidence. Every time I'm working, so-and-so's here.
Yeah. But that's the thing, a lot of times you're searching that, you don't clue in that.
Well,
you're like, oh, what a weird coincidence. I keep
him.
seeing them here at the same place all the time. You just kind of
But then he kept calling my house all the time to tell my mom, like, Mom, like, I don't want to talk to him.
That's awkward.
Yeah, it was super awkward. But then it was like the last year of school. So then like it kind of just didn't go anywhere. But anyway, so I promise no more stories, I think.
No, but high school was like that. And, guys and girls and all this stuff. Yeah, it was an interesting time.
Complicated.
Looking back, it was kind of fun, but stressful at the time.
So stressful.
Yeah, like I think I look back on high school. I had fun.
I did.
I can look back on it and not be like, oh my God, it was the worst years of my life. It wasn't the best years by any means, but it was... For me, it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, it had its moments, but overall, like, whatever. It wasn't, like, terrible.
Exactly. Like, I was okay.
Okay. Oh, my God, I just thought of another story, but I'll save it for the next category.
All right.
Sorry. Do you have stories, Eric?
I told my story. I set the glove on fire.
You peeked.
I did.
Okay. social divisions. It critiques how high school cliques divide people. I mean, yeah, I think we've talked about that plenty.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can see it everywhere. Even nowadays, you can see. You go to the mall or something, you see a bunch of kids hanging out. You can see the different groups. But 100%. Like I remember going because we had like the cafeteria, so like usually in the winter, especially people would be there, and it was always like,
it was you and your table, and everybody always sat at the same spot. This table was like all
the football jock guys. Yeah. This table was these people. This one was these.
Yeah.
And then like the grade 9s who just the. Whatever, what are they called, sophomores in the States?
No.
See, it's so weird up here in Canada. We refer to everything by grade.
What?
It's sophomore, junior, senior. What's the first one? Why am I going blank? Everybody's screaming right now.
Freshman,
that's it.
Oh my God, that was giving me such anxiety. I'm like,
but it's so weird. Like up here, we never use that.
It's grade 9, 10, 11, 12.
Grade 9, 10, 11, 12. Or when we were in high school, we had OAC, which was grade 13.
It was optional, yeah.
Yeah, but it was weird. And then the States, they always have freshman, junior, whatever.
I know now. It's freshman, sophomore, junior, because juniors to seniors.
Say sophomore?
Sophomore.
Sophomore, I know. I think it's soft.
Sophomore?
Okay, so one more story, I think. This one's actually a really embarrassing story. So I don't know.
Get your popcorn out.
Yes,
at some point in time, embarrassing being like 15. Like now it's just funny, but like being that. So for some reason, again, it must have been like grade 10. I remember being in the younger grades, and our school did this like matchmaking thing for Valentine's Day.
Oh, our school did that.
Was it like the same company just went to every high school?
Yeah. Do you have to pay for it or something?
Yeah. So to get your results, you paid $5 or something. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember doing that, but must have. But anyway, so it was this matchmaking thing, and they would never do this now, but back in the 90s, they didn't give an F. They just wanted to embarrass everybody. So they decided, like, I think they individually gave you your, like, matches or whatever.
Yeah.
But then they decided that the top matches in the whole entire school would be posted in the front hallway when you walked in the main doors for everybody to see.
Nowadays, they never do that.
No. So
because I'm guessing, where did you end up on that list? I think I know where this is going.
I matched with, and he was actually kind of a class A asshole, but I matched with... Not just like presumably, but legitimately the smartest kid in school who was in my grade. But this was a guy who had 100% in every course. Like, actually, I think
genius.
Steve probably knows who I'm talking about. But
you talking about me?
No,
Steve's the genius.
But okay, so listen, he was like the cool kid genius. So like because
not Steve then.
No, just listen, just really quickly. Just let me.
Not me.
No, it wasn't Steve. But let me just paint the picture. So he was super dorky looking, like total like. Nerdy looking kid, but because he was so smart, he actually like he had a personality, so he was like one of those guys that was in like the cool club. He was like a crossover. It was weird.
That's unheard of. 100% grades and considered a cool kid.
But I was
that's
like
really weird.
Yeah,
I was like we were like 99.9% match.
Whoa!
You should have got your claws into him then.
Yeah,
I don't know where he is now, but
he's out in. What's the Silicon Valley?
Oh, geez. You could have even hands into a tech pro.
According to online, I don't know if he actually is, but that's what I saw elsewhere. But anyway, like, it was just so embarrassing and weird.
Yeah, that's why they would never, ever do that nowadays.
Oh, God, no.
It'll be like this whole weird thing.
Yeah.
Now I just got super awkward and embarrassed and thinking, like, if any of these people hear this.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh no, I don't want to do this anymore.
Oh no. Change the topic quick.
But anyway, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. Oh
We're all good here. Everything's yep.
Do you see how red my face just got? Next.
I do. I was to see that on camera.
Okay. I just literally was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Personal growth and connection. By the end, they break past their stereotypes and form real connections for that moment. But then, like Eric said, like, you go to school on Monday and you just...
And, you know, all that stuff that happened on the weekend, that bonding doesn't matter anymore.
Now, maybe it would be one of those things where if the brain was getting picked on by somebody, the criminal might low-key stand up for him because they have a bond. I don't know. Would he, though?
That's a tough call. I don't know.
Maybe
I'm
the
not sure.
kinship?
I think that kinship is broken.
But I thought, didn't they say they were going to talk to each other?
Yeah, but did they? We don't know.
I forget now.
Talk is cheap.
But either way, it's,
Steve. Talk is cheap.
No, I remember the brain and the freaky girl, Ali Sheedy, they said they would talk to everybody.
Yeah.
So they were like, does that mean we're better people than the rest of you?
But we don't know if they actually did.
Exactly.
Well, no, they don't show you the...
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a... defeat the purpose of the movie. Like,
yeah, exactly.
What the hell?
All right. Sorry, I just had a hiccup.
Whoa.
Sorry. Okay. So here's some iconic scenes that they pointed out. See, I think, I'm not going to lie, I think I don't like this movie because I really didn't like the
principal?
Well, I didn't like him, but I didn't really like Judd Nelson.
Bender.
He really annoyed me. I don't know if it was just Judd Nelson himself, but it just, I don't know why. Something about the character just was so over the top and like dumb.
That was like a career defining role for him. Like, that was like the role of his career.
I mean, good for him, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. It just bugged me. So Bender versus Principal Vernon, their intense confrontations highlight the authority struggles in school.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, he was there, and I knew kids like that back in the day.
Just didn't give a shit.
Oh, and they would just say something to piss off the teachers and stuff like that.
Just to push the buttons.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this one kid would just harass our English teacher.
Oh, yeah, like a nonstop.
Steal the keys to her office and stuff like that all the time. I remember he had it hanging from he was a rich kid, too, so he was like a little shithead.
Yeah.
But
Shit don't stink.
He had her office key on his rearview mirror in his car.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Just to like taunt her.
Well, he would park in the teacher's parking all the time, and she would always get mad at him and stuff like that. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Oh, my God.
And then there is the confession circle. The group sits in a circle and shares their personal stories, breaking down emotional walls. And, I mean, I could see that happening. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's obviously exaggerated because not many teenagers are sharing their secrets, but...
It was after they smoked some weeds, they're mellow.
Yeah. Exactly. That's when they reveal all of their... why they were all in detention.
Yeah. And I think that's... like I said, whether it's in the movie, in real life, or whatever, but, once people sit down and start to talk, you realize... most people have a lot more in common than
they realize.
Oh, well, everybody has
stuff like that, and that's really what the whole thing is about.
It's just the social barriers keeping you from kind of going over the line to talk to those people.
No, and also the same thing. We're like, oh, that kid's this. Like, I mean, the rest of it's like, oh, he's like the super cool jock who can who can do wrong, and then you talk to him, it's like, oh my God, he has a horrible father that he hates, and he hates doing all this stuff, and he hates his life. And
he doesn't have the perfect life that people think.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with like Molly Ringwald. Everyone's like, oh, she's a little princess. And she starts and it's like, oh, her life sounds terrible too. And then Bender, it's like, oh, he sounds exactly like I kind of thought it would be.
Yeah. And then there's the dance scene, a fun, carefree moment where they bond through dance. I mean, I think that obviously is just very symbolic for kind of everybody let down their barriers and just had fun.
So fun fact, that dance scene wasn't actually in the script. That was like an ad-lib scene that they put in like afterwards.
That's probably why it's good because it wasn't scripted.
Yeah. Whoa.
Or John Hughes.
No kidding.
Well, no, I'm just saying. Usually the ad lib. Wow, I was like, "Why are you guys looking at me so judgy?"
John Hughes is the king.
I was giving props to the actors.
Yeah, no, that was a good scene. It's just random.
Brian's letter that said, "Dear Mr. Vernon," the closing monologue where Brian sums up what they have learned. You see us as you want to see us, in the simplest terms, in the most convenient definitions.
Yeah, that's true. It's
that sums it all
very
up there.
deep. He's a very deep boy.
Exactly. Most convenient definitions.
Yeah. No, and that's what it is.
You see us how you want to see us.
Yeah.
People love to label things, right?
Yeah. It's like you see us as the
brain,
the
criminal,
princess, the criminal, and then that's all we'll ever be in your eyes.
I have to say something. I want to go back to my high school self, and I'm sorry that I succumbed to the pressures of stereotype groups because we all are just people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And who knows? Maybe I could have be married to some really smart guy right now. I don't know if I had to just put down my walls.
You could have. You never know. I said you could go.
Or a criminal, one of the two. But either way.
No, but that's the thing. I mean, once you get past, especially in high school where everyone's just trying to figure themselves out as well. So I think there's a lot more people put up more walls than in now in real life. Like if someone was to walk up to you at work, they don't really talk to you and said something, you wouldn't really be like, why are you talking to me?
No. Or in most cases, you're not going to be super intimidated.
No, it's different. But in high school, like I said, because everyone's trying to figure themselves out too and stuff. So it's kind of like this, don't talk to me.
Here's a question. We've all experienced this at one point in time throughout life since high school. But have you ever in public seen somebody that you went to high school with, and from whatever your relationship or not relationship was in high school, however you saw them in high school, when you see them as an adult, you immediately go back to that feeling of like, oh my God, there's that cool girl.
I hate that feeling.
Yes,
you immediately get taken back to like how you felt in high school.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, I can't talk to that person.
That she's too cool for me, or he was a jock and he was mean.
Yeah, and I hate that because I'm like, well, we're all. This is like 30 years later, we're all adults.
We're good.
No, and now especially because of Facebook and stuff, you see what people are up to. It's like, oh, no one's doing anything that's super exciting
it's so weird because like
you just go right back to that.
Yeah. I mean, I've done that where I'm like, oh my God, that girl was so cool. I can't talk to her. But like, I mean, maybe she's thinking the same about me or something, right? It's just weird. It's a weird thing.
Because everyone goes back to that almost like his little essay he wrote. You see them as that person still.
Yeah.
And it is a really weird thing too, because like you know that person, but you don't really have anything in common with them, like necessarily. Like you weren't friends in high school.
No,
right?
You just have a preconceived notion of them from high school.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And it's like a weird thing. It's
exactly. You don't know them really. They don't know you really.
Yeah, it's like I just think I know you because at 15 or 16 you were the dork or the cool kid or whatever, and they're thinking the same thing. Whereas it's like it's been 30 years and you didn't know me then, you know me now.
But that just shows how, although it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but how impactful. It's like a weird thing because high school is so impactful that it, like, you know, so many decades later, it's still like we're like automatically taken back to that moment.
Yeah, but that's where it's like a weird dichotomy because we're talking about how it's not important at all. But now you just said how.
Yeah, no, it's weird.
That's why I said I hate it because I hate having that feeling.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Yeah,
because it really doesn't matter high school in the end, other than you get out there with your diploma, then that's all you need.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything else.
So the last iconic scene is the fist pump. Bender walks across the football field, raising his fist in triumph. One of the most iconic endings in film history. Really? Why is that so iconic?
Well, it's just
yeah. I don't know film history, but it's pretty iconic.
Well, why does he fist pump?
Well, he's just cheering, like
because
he goes along to the speech.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as the brain's reading the essay he wrote.
Yeah, everyone's leaving.
Oh, I remember now.
Yeah.
I remember.
He gives his fist bump.
Yeah.
Of course, it's the criminal.
It's the rebelliousness of youth.
That's right. Yeah.
So, legacy and impact, cultural influence, one of the most beloved teen films of all time, defining the 80s teen movie genre.
Mm-hmm.
Soundtrack, Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me became an anthem.
Classic song.
That's a great song.
I like that song. Don't you forget about me.
Oh, yeah, it's a great tune. Yeah.
Timeless themes, still relevant today in discussions about adolescent stereotypes and mental health. Very true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And pop culture references, frequently referenced in TV shows, movies, and music.
Yeah.
The Breakfast Club is more than just a teen movie. It's a raw, emotional, and funny exploration of identity, pressure, and the power of human connection. That's interesting to me because, like, the quote unquote teen movies that we grew up with in like the 90s, they weren't deep.
No, that's even back then they weren't really. That's why this was such a different thing because it's a teen movie, but it's a real movie. It's quote unquote. It's not a dick and fart.
It makes you think.
You know, like a prepubescent guy trying to get laid, like weird
like American Pie.
Yeah, like weird science. These guys making a girl try and get laid and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think it's like it's good because whether you are in high school right now and you decide to watch it, or you were in high school, 5 years ago, like us, wink, wink. It just makes you think about it.
No, because those themes are universal.
Yeah,
and they haven't changed from when our parents were in high school to when we were in high school to our kids, grandkids, whatever. Like it's the same themes that never changes. It's just it's human emotions.
And the themes kind of play into adulthood too, not to the extreme, but like in a workplace. If you work with a lot of people, I'm sure there's some underlying like, ooh, that guy's just way too smart.
Oh yeah, I know, and it's just human nature. I think you just get, and the bigger the groups, the more divided it gets. But you just get these cliques of people who have common interests, whether it's sports or TV or writing or art or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still trying to find my clique.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get into the dork club.
I'm trying to find her tribe.
I'm taking, openings. If I have a resume I can submit if anybody wants an opening in the
Adopt a Kelly.
Adopt a Kelly. I promise I'm quiet sometimes, and anyway. But no, it is interesting, and like I said, it's fun to talk about high school and look back and laugh about it. It's interesting when you kind of as an adult think about those experiences and how at the time you're just like, oh my god, this is my life.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think though? Does the movie hold up after watching it again?
I mean, I think it's an 80s movie, so I think it's fine. But I think the theme of it does for sure. I don't think that's ever going to go away, that theme. Yeah,
same. I think the theme still resonates. Like, kind of the generational battle between the authoritarian principle and the youth is that's something that's relevant, I think, forever. Basically.
It's never going to not be.
It's cyclical. And then I think, like the individuals themselves and all of the cliques in high school and in the youth, I think that's still relevant today.
And the struggles that they have with their families, with fitting in, with all that stuff. So I think it's just never going to be a topic that disappears.
No.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think it's just as relevant today as it was 40 years ago, and it will be in another 40 years. Yeah, it's really well done.
Even like I said, even though I personally think the movie's a little bit dry, I think the overall like message, like it's a good movie.
Yeah, no, it's very much a drama, not a. There is some funny stuff in there, but it's very story driven. But I really liked it.
Just Judd Nelson. I don't know what about that character that irked me.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's fine. But let us know. Have you guys seen The Breakfast Club? What do you think? Who is your favorite character, and what quote unquote clique did you belong to in high school?
Yeah, let us know.
We're still trying to figure ours out.
Yeah, still trying to figure out.
We were all cool kids, obviously.
Cool kids.
Of course.
Well, how about we were like Switzerland? We just were in.
Yeah, there was those kids.
There you go. Yeah. Just floating between groups.
Friends with everybody.
Yep.
All right, guys, comment below. Let us know what you thought. But that is it for today's podcast. We thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys. Oh. Don't you forget about me.
Oh, man.